No, Mike, this is gonna be bad. You should be sitting upright.
Dear heinous feed, when the indigestion caused by your treasonous illogic imperils the nation and clouds my stomach acid, I find myself with no choice but to pen another letter, my third. Ah, the likes of you pollute my very dreams, and I awake every morning with a bloody knife in one hand, and
No!
a dead Republican baby in the other, stolen from the womb of a dead Republican mother. I invented a device to trick all of you. I call it a textbook. You'll never figure it out. Last night I styled my hair in the shape of you, and I had to cut it all off because it was so despicable. Now I'm bald, and it is your fault. And your commonest places drive me bonkers. For you, I wish all the heinousness of a pile of well-warmed shit on the face and in the mouth of a neurotoxin imbecile singing for his supper. I took 100 colored photographs of my vagina and hung them around town merely to give voice to my disgust for you and your malicious ideas. I pasted your vile words all over my body, and it was such a sight that my doctor refused to examine me and sent me home with the bumps. You make me so angry that I listen to Rush, the band, not the windbag on talk radio. I drop out of NYU if it meant that you would be destroyed immediately, and your penicillin-sticking marshmallow-textured lake of dung. I'm very glad that I'm not ugly and stupid like you are, Medusans. I'm very mad that the world is a place in which you could exist. I called 911 to try to change that. Every time a pregnant mother eats raw mercury, the Republicans increase their chances of registering a new member. Every time a boy rapes a girl and locks her in a closet for 9 months so she can't get it aborted, the baby has a good chance of being born a Republican, like his ass-twat, acetone-mouth father-fuck. If you chop off your legs at the knees and your arms at the shoulders, you still will not have done enough to atone for the anguish you cause. You are that bad. You are a cadmium overdose, a beryllium overdose, a lead overdose, a plutonium overdose all at once. You are the worst metals and all the worst non-metals. All your elements suck the most. I sweat droplets of hate sweat when I spend 5 hours every day punching a picture of George W. Bush right in his lipless mouth. I bottle that sweat and I drink it back up so I'm refreshed enough to spend the next 3 hours shoving a lead pipe into my tender flesh of cuts while screaming Dick Cheney's name and social security number 085-666-548. I lurked outside of school for 5 weeks to launch a surprise attack on an unsuspecting Republican. I wasted my time. Republicans are not educated. I should have looked outside of Hades. I led a seance where I called upon the ghost of Hitler. He said, I know I'm a bad guy, but your current prez totally sucks. He said in German, I speak all the important European tongues. You smell like kipper snacks and taste like Menzies. That is why no one loves you. You are a lotion made out of sandpaper. You are like mouthwash made out of pee. You are a fridge made out of a campfire. You are irrelevant, wrong, retarded, rank, rampant, and rude. I shot twin turds 2 years ago. Lo and behold, they turned up in the Republican Party platform this year. Because of that event, I vowed never to shit twin turds again. I only shit turds one at a time, and as soon as they're formed, I whack them with a chainsaw to make sure that they never see the light of day. Republicans are forever trying to steal my turds to give to the homeless as snacks. This is a practice as rotten and revolting as the feed itself, itchmakers. I loathe you like I loathe pure evil, bad grades, frizzy hair, and slipping on ice. I went to Jersey City and puked in a homeless guy's cart in your name. I hijacked a plane to Siberia and then remembered that I don't need to be awful. You do the job just fine, you dick-eating, putrid, stinking bottle of vomit and chest hair. What's the ugliest thing you can think of? Wrong. The correct answer is you. Today I walked barefoot on broken glass, stuck needles into my pores, and ate benzene. I did this so that it would distract me from the true pain, which is knowing you exist, dumbbell. I wouldn't think twice about slaughtering your children to relieve them of the pain of being descended from such cunt-addled birds. I would think twice about your suffering as you die in a lagoon of burning arsenic and bile. I think thrice. I would smile. You're in for it this time, suckers. I know where you live because I know everything. I got 14 on my SAT. I rot cucumbers in my fridge and then throw them out of my window on the off chance that they will fall on Republicans and ruin their days. Those are just normal Republicans. Think about what I have in store for you, wench sucking, dirt farting wine butts. I slipped A's in your coffee, and when you die 10 years from now, it will mean that I didn't get you with my ninja sword first. I got sent to a psychologist because of my hate for you disturb people. When I explained it, though, the psychologist agreed with me, and now they're sending you to jail for being a pisser, pussy eater. One time a boy told me he was a Republican. Even though he took it back, I took naked pictures of him, and I put it on the internet. He won't talk to me anymore. I overheard a lady in the supermarket say she was a Republican. I grabbed the melon she was holding smashed in her face. She's not a Republican anymore. She's permanently unconscious. Once upon a time there was a Republican. The next day I went over there and then there wasn't one anymore. Once upon a time there was a GWB feed. That was the time the world was the worst, and I shat grapes on my ass into the mouths of babies to protest. I bought up all the patriotism, and I'm only letting Democrats have it. Republicans have to love theocracies like Saudi Arabia now. If you were a color, you'd be friendless puce. If you were a fruit, you'd be friendless peach. If you were an online service, you'd be CompuServe. I can play the bass better than you can. I can live longer than you can, two punch nose. If you're not dead already, then it must be your loved ones who just tortured and killed. Before they met their maker, they said they didn't like you anyway. I just poured a can of black paint into my mouth and spat it on my computer screen because you showed up. I can slither through sewers and climb through commodes, so you better learn to shit standing up and be prepared for the biggest rectal you can imagine. A rectal is a punch in the ass. A beer rectal is a punch in the ass with a can of beer. Prepare for a beer rectal, boars. Yours, etc. Dara M.